Thank you very much, Shox. And yes, you may be wondering, who are these absolute giga random chappies on your screen right now? I'm Excoundrel, I'm an NLC caster. I cast a lot of the European regional leagues. We were here yesterday. LEC's done a really good job of getting us in to do some remote casting. But of course, I'm here to help bring my boy Foxdrop back to the LEC.
Hello, it's been a while. I've definitely missed being on LEC, honestly, and I'm really excited. Not just to be here, but obviously the games that we've got today. Like, there's so much on the line for playoffs. It's absolutely insane. The first game as well, both of these teams really can't afford to drop this one. So I'm mega excited to see what we're going to get out of the games today. And I'm giddy because really, I don't think they gave us what we can see out of them yesterday. And so today I'm expecting more.
Yeah, we have got a very, very important game for both Schalke and Astralis, but it all starts with Champion Select. We are into Champion Select, Schalke versus Astralis. And a cheeky little statistic for you. You saw the LoL esports stats tweeted out about it. Astralis technically have a 0.25% chance, or rather, in terms of remaining scenarios, to get into a playoff position. So, Foxy, there's a chance.
There's a chance, and we're holding on to that chance. But if they lose this game today, that chance reaches 0%, which would be a little bit sad for them. And obviously, Schalke, you know, that three-horse race, they lost yesterday. Excel lost yesterday, but Misfits didn't. They really can't afford to lose any pace there because their playoff spot is slipping away. So we're heading into the bans here. Pretty standard stuff, seeing the Udyr being taken away. The TF, this does leave Rell open, who we have seen really, really strong right now in the meta, and Schalke are going to snap that one up.
It's been a really high blue side first pick in terms of percentages, I think, over the last few weeks, especially on 11.4, where she has really risen in meta. But we get an immediate response in the bot lane. WhiteKnight, Astralis locking in Kai'Sa and Alistar as that immediate response to the Rell.
So the Alistar is a pretty common one into Rell. Any champion that can do a disengage, you know, you just bop Rell away when she tries to jump in. We see that a lot. And the Kai'Sa is interesting as well here because I feel like it's a good takeaway from Neon. It's by far Neon's most played champion so far in the LEC. That's the one. So just picking it up for yourself is beautiful stuff, right? Like, it's a good pick for yourself, and it takes it away from Schalke, who are going to respond with, ooh, that's the Azir and the Hecarim. Okay. That's a pretty powerful one too right there.
Yeah, but also, Foxy, do you remember the statistic that you gave me yesterday? It's not really a statistic. You told me that,
it's not a fun fact. It's not a fun fact.
It's not a fun fact. Well, not a fun fact for Zanzarah. Zanzarah has only ever won a game in the LEC on either Hecarim or Skarner. Skarner is banned, and Hecarim is picked up by Gilius over on Schalke. Now, Schalke have also locked in the Azir, a very popular blind mid lane pick, but also if you think back to what the Jeskla was saying in terms of ready check, they said that if Schalke really want to turn things on, we need to get Abbedagge back. We need to get him popping off, and Azir is one of those champions where you have a lot of agency, a lot of control in the team fights, and it could be a really influential pick for Schalke this game.
When Schalke do well and are on the hype train, Abbedagge is absolutely the conductor of that train. So we do want to see some more out of him. And I also think, you know, it's quite smart right here, picking this Azir and banning away mids from MagiFelix. Because I also think this kind of is MagiFelix's wheelhouse as far as mid lane champions go. So you might be putting him on something a little bit uncomfortable. We played the Syndra yesterday. Didn't really have the performance and the impact that he would have liked. To be honest, I'm not putting that on his shoulders. But either way, being able to force players off of comfort is a pretty big deal, as there it is. All right, that's the last ban of this champion select. It's going to be the Syndra. MagiFelix really being pinched here.
Yeah, absolutely. I am. I've gone robot-y. Foxy, you're just walk us through the end of the champion select.
We're going to get the Olaf pick in here as the jungle pick here for Zanzarah. So Zanzarah played Olaf last game, didn't have a huge amount of success, but it's also a champion that I do think fits his playstyle. Zanzarah does like to be more farm focused, but also he's not exactly a slow tempo jungler. And with that in mind, Olaf, a champion that can have early game impact, is a really solid pickup for him. On the other side here, that Xayah being locked in. Xayah obviously rising in priority in the meta. One of the biggest things that she does is her ability to stay safe in games. And when you're playing versus an Alistar, you're playing versus a Sion, these champions love to just engage, jump on top of you. Kai'Sa can follow that in as well with her ulti. And Kai'Sa and the Xayah, excuse me, just really good at protecting herself in those scenarios. Are you back? Are you human now?
I'm
You're
human.
human.
I'm
okay,
human.
good.
Just for context, to let everybody know, if I go roboty, I have a problem with one of my sound cards, and you might have heard from yesterday, but I have a very quick fix for it every time it happens, so shouldn't be a problem, and hoping it won't crop up too many times throughout the day. Honestly, it's one of those challenges of remote broadcasting. But hey, we have a Fiora pick, mate. We've got a Fiora.
Yeah.
This time it was played in the LEC. It was played by H2K, Smitty J, in a win versus Schalke. So that's actually picked up by BrokenBlade, and this is really interesting because we saw the Sion picked up very early on for WhiteKnight. BrokenBlade's on a carry as well, Foxdrop.
Yep, and I'm gonna just delve into that big time when we get into game. But as far as like the team comps go, right here, I think Astralis are keeping it simple team fight comp, simple kind of like you got your AD carry, you got your protection, you got your frontline, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And to be honest, Schalke have elements of that as well. But that Fiora pick I think is really juicy because if BrokenBlade gets out of control, it's going to be so hard to contain him in that side lane. Fiora is one of the strongest split pushers in the entire game if you can let it go. So yeah, definitely something to keep your eyes on if you are Astralis.
So we have these two champion teams locked in for Astralis and Schalke. This is an important game for both of them. Let's head on to the Rift. We are on to the Rift, Schalke versus Astralis, and it is an important game for both of these teams. Schalke currently qualifying in about 15% of remaining scenarios, getting to that playoff spot. This is an important win for them. Astralis is a team that they should beat. They're on a 7-game losing streak right now, though, Foxy. And as the analyst desk was saying in the lead up, they're a very momentum-driven team. So they need to turn it around, and they need to turn it around right now. Otherwise, we could be looking at the reverse miracle run.
And this is the best chance to do it. As you say, like Astralis as a team, they're sitting 3-10 at the bottom of the 3-11, excuse me, at the bottom of the standings. And you really can't afford to drop a game like this if you are Schalke. Take a look-see here. Look at them. They were in a playoff spot pretty much the entirety of the spring split, and now all the way down there at 5-9. They've been struggling big time. They have to turn it around in this game, but I also think, Schalke as a team, I think they're confident enough to make it happen. We had an interview with Dylan Falco yesterday where we talked about how the team's not worried in the slightest. I don't know how, that's some next level confidence right there when you're on a 7-game lose streak. But against Astralis, I think that kind of confidence can really pull forward. And hopefully for them, they can end this massive lose streak.
Aggressive play from BrokenBlade here, just trying to get as much pressure down. This is a matchup that can be quite difficult for Sion, I believe. The Fiora just very good, especially with the percentage health shred that she's got in her kit. And a lot of, I guess, focus being given to BrokenBlade. A lot of people have complimented his laning phase. They say he's a strong laner in general. And this is kind of a champion that will allow him to express that. I think this is a big mantle for BrokenBlade to have in a very important game for Schalke.
Absolutely, and I'm really happy to see Schalke draft a more carry-focused top laner for BrokenBlade. There's a really interesting statistic that I dug up regarding BrokenBlade and Schalke's success. When Schalke lose games, BrokenBlade has a 20% damage share, and when Schalke win games, BrokenBlade has almost a 30% damage share. Now, big numbers like that don't necessarily mean that you're a better top laner. It just really goes to show that when Schalke wins, it's often through BrokenBlade. He is the type of champion, the type of player who wants to pick these type of champions, I should say. And just as comparison, like Wonder, when he wins his games on G2, he's got like 22% damage share. Odoamne's like 23% when he wins with Rogue. So it's not like he's better than any of those guys when he wins. It's just like, that's the style that Schalke play, And I think having the Fiora locked in here against the Sion, as you say, is a hard matchup for Sion until he builds, some armor, gets that Bramble Vest going as well. I really do think, you know, they're putting a lot of the carry threat here onto BrokenBlade in that split push, and it has worked out previously for Schalke, so we'll have to see whether or not they can make that work as this game goes on.
Well, you mentioned the split push there, because I think that's kind of interesting to touch on. I always, in my mind, envision how Fiora influences win conditions for a composition, and the kind of the way that I look at it is that she's very much a one-trick pony. I know that's a bit ironic now that we're looking at the pony right now, but she's very much a one-trick pony in terms of what win conditions she can activate. She's not particularly useful in team fights, although she definitely can have an influence. She is primarily that split push driver.
Almost getting on someone away by Zanzarah. That's a double crab here, by the way. That's always a nice start there for the Hecarim, and terrible start if you're playing Olaf, who's a very good early game champion. But absolutely, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Like, I think this is one of the reasons you don't see Fiora too much in the meta, because she is very much like a one-trick pony, as you say. And when you're playing a champion that has kind of like one main strength and then really not much else, it definitely pigeonholes you into a certain style of play. And that is something, you know, that is a downside of Fiora. But in this particular draft, I think versus the Sion, like the Sion was blind picked, right? You know you're going against this tank that's not going to be able to press you too much. And so I do think she will have a relatively free lane. You can even see from her choice of runes here as well on that Conqueror. She wants to be able to bring this Sion down, and it's up to the Sion to just hold the fort in that top lane or in the side lane whenever it gets to that point. And then, you know, roam around with his ultimate, maybe get a TP flank, that kind of thing. So Fiora definitely going to have that advantage in the 1v1, and when she does, it's a pretty big advantage.
And you actually mentioned something a minute ago that I do want to kind of loop back to, because you mentioned that Zanzarah got double scuttled. And if you remember yesterday when he was playing Olaf, he got double scuttled. That's not something that you often like to see as your jungler in the early game. What is it about? I mean, we've got a little bit of an engage here from BrokenBlade. Doesn't look like it's going to amount to much. But why is it that Zanzarah is getting double scuttled, especially on Olaf? Is it just the kind of the unique pathing that his enemies are taking against him, or do you just think that's something that Zanzarah is looking to avoid early fighting?
Speaking of early fighting, mind you, I'll answer that question when we know what's going to happen here in the top lane. Gilius is ghosting in.
Yeah, he's ghosting in. They knew that he was there. Zanzarah was on top of a ward as he jumped straight into the fray. Locks Zanzarah up. There's a flash immediately on him. They are diving in onto Gilius. They should be able to pick up the kill first. Blood goes over to Zanzarah, and now BrokenBlade is forced to flash away. This is an absolute disaster for Schalke. That was not a good gank.
Oh, Excoundrel is a terrible day to have eyes. What did I just see? You saw it the whole time. Zanzarah walked through a wall. Oh my goodness, Promisq's gonna bring him down as well. No, this is a terrible start here for Schalke. I am just at a loss for words. I really am from that first play. Abbedagge is going to salvage something out of this, though, right here. They are going to pick up that kill onto MagiFelix.
It's not over, mate. It's not over. They're still going for a teleport. Limit is coming up with Gilius. BrokenBlade is there. Does not have level 6, though, so can't really burst them down. There are flashes not available right now as WhiteKnight gets taken very, very low. Gilius will pick up the kill, and now Zanzarah desperately throwing out those axes to chase BrokenBlade down. Won't be the case, though. They will just back off. At least they trade back here, and look at that juicy wave that BrokenBlade has to soak up under tower.
That's a great point. That juicy wave is really, really crucial here. If BrokenBlade had missed that, that would have been just a huge BG right there, and he would not have been happy in the slightest. I don't even know where to begin when we're talking about that play right there, because on it, like legit, Zanzarah walked across a ward. Schalke took that play thinking they had the advantage. Like, they 100% knew what that play was going to entail. They took it and still fell flat on their face. That is a travesty right there. But also, you know, they do come out on top at the end, you know, salvaging some things. It's 2 for 2 in the end. Look at that, he's sitting on a ward. I honestly think, though, legit, I think the problem here is your focus. Look at BrokenBlade compared to Gilius here. Gilius goes in. He focuses Zanzarah. But like what? They're completely separate. It's like they're fighting on 2 fronts here, and there's the communication or the lack thereof is just crazy in that play, and really is the downfall for Schalke. A great roam here from promisq as well as Limit, you know, supports joining this fight, and I think MagiFelix has disrespected that, and you know, face checks at the worst possible time. But he's going to go down as well, and as you mentioned, you know, the BrokenBlade TP. Okay, we're going to get some T-Tours here. Ooh, yes, the misery. We love to see a little bit of misery, don't we?
Wait, we're still going. This fight was so long. We're still in the replay.
It's madness. At least they, you know, they bring down WhiteKnight here with that TV from BrokenBlade. So, you know, like I say, salvaging some things at the end of that. 2 for 2 at the end of the day. But my goodness, this is just an absolute fiesta. Hey, is that Dracos? What a ledge. Maybe that's not live. Maybe that's just our feed. I don't know. But hello, how you doing?
We can see you, Dracos. I don't know if the stream can, but we can see you. Okay, looks like we are back into game here, and we're going to go back down to the bot lane. I mean, there has been
a kill.
We did miss a kill. Who picked up the kill there? It was Gilius. Gilius picked up the kill.
Yeah. So Gilius now 2-1-0. Zanzarah falling down right there. Sorry, I never really got to answer your question about the Skull Crabs, but I feel like we passed that moment as Limit is now flashing in promisq with the disengage. That is why you pick the Alistar into the Rell, because he's got such good disengage. Rell wants to jump in, she wants to go forward. Alistar's having none of that, just to pulverize there, and that is Limit's flash being blown for not really anything.
Yeah, I mean, Neon seems to have got a decent chunk of solo experience here. He is obviously level 7, a little bit further on. Let's have a look. We're going to get a replay of that kill. It was just on the dragon, it looks like.
Okay, so we had the dragon going down. So who got that? All right, Astralis get the dragon at least. You know, I think that's worth it, losing someone for the dragon. I definitely think that's a decent-ish trade. I don't think either team will be too upset about that one, because we're tuning into top lane. That's a lot of damage coming through from BrokenBlade. But as I mentioned, you know, that Bramble Vest is really quite big. It's quite powerful against the Fiora because she hurts herself. When she bops you, even when she lunges, she hurts herself. And Fiora has so much healing in her kit. When she hits a vital, when she pops her ulti, so much healing, plus her itemization, she also gets a butt ton. Like, the Bramble Vest is just such high value. And I think, honestly, WhiteKnight, if he plays it smart, if you can get to that, like, mythic Sunfire item, whether he decides to go for the Frozen Fist, or we've even seen a lot of turbo chem tanks from champions that otherwise wouldn't buy that item. I think he's going to be, he'll be okay-ish. You know, I think that's just his goal for right now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that top lane develops. It's definitely one of the talking points of this game. You know, you don't see a Fiora every often. So, you know, we talked about it the last time we saw it was quite a number of years ago in the LEC. So it's one of those picks that definitely sparks a bit of conversation. But again, let's see how that goes on throughout the game. Let's take stock of where we are now. We're coming into 10 minutes. First Dragon has gone the way of Astralis. We've just given the first Rift Herald over to Schalke. What are these teams going to be looking to do over the next few minutes? Like, which team needs to accelerate? Which team is happy just chilling? Or, you know, do you think both teams are kind of happy in that scenario as well? What do we think these teams are doing in terms of playing towards the win conditions of their compositions?
I honestly think both teams are pretty happy chilling out in this game. Like, you got a very standard front-to-back team fight team comp here from the side of Astralis. You know, it's definitely not going to hurt in any way, shape, or form if you can get that Kai'Sa having some more items. Same for the Orianna in the mid lane. And to be honest, similarly for Schalke, like, whenever you look at an Azir, you look at Fiora, Xayah as well, like, these are champions that can scale pretty hard. As Zanzarah's not going to walk forward into Gilius. Nothing happening, just sweeping out some vision, going to take away that pink ward right there. So to be honest, I don't expect a huge amount to be happening in this lane phase, in this early game, and I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, only big... Oh, there's the engage though.
It's engaged straight onto Neon. Force use the Featherstorm, will bounce away, and that is a really nice disengage from Limit. He absolutely keeps Neon alive and breathing off the back of that 2v2.
Gilius might be a little bit, or maybe Zanzarah might be a little bit here. He's going to have to flash over the wall, losing his summoner. A little bit over-aggressive. I do like that engage, though, in the bot side from promisq on the Alistar. You know what? We're not even done. It's just fighting left, right, and center. It's all happening. There's a shockwave, just chunking Abbedagge out. I think, you know, going to look to perhaps put some vision in this top side. Zanzarah has to be a little bit careful on these chickens, though.
Yeah, he doesn't have his flash available. Obviously, he will have that ultimate if he needs it to get out of any hard CC. But he is going to lose his chickens to Limit and Gilius, the chicken stealers. They're coming through and they're going to take him.
The thieves. Not going to be too happy about that one, but it's
okay.
You know, it's not
we're both English, and you definitely used the correct word. I don't even think Steelers is a word. I'm not
Steelers?
Even...
Isn't Chicken Steelers some kind of football team? I don't know. Might need a citation.
Isn't that the Pittsburgh Steelers?
No, I'm not so sure, honestly. It might, I don't know. Maybe we're both right. Who knows? Either way, getting back into some Leg of Legends action right here. It's, you know, as soon as I mentioned we wouldn't see too much action, of course, we then saw a ton of action. But I just wanted, you know, to really highlight Xayah as a champion and her ability to disengage. She got flashed on top of by an Alistar, she got comboed down, but she was still able to just dip, you know, and not a lot of AD carries would be able to do that in that situation, as BrokenBlade now has TP'd into the top lane. Oh, he's popped the ult.
He's popping the ult here, going for the vitals, doesn't quite get them. I think that was a really nice disengage with the Sion ultimate to prevent him from dashing over and picking up the last vital there. Obviously, later on today, our match of the week, Rogue versus Mad, Game 5. You don't want to miss it again. Vedius talked a lot about the clash in styles that those two teams will bring, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how both of them play against each other.
Absolutely. You know, Rogue has definitely been, honestly, for a good few years, outside of their first season, their first split, I think Rogue's been one of the premier teams here in the LEC, and they definitely deserve a lot of respect. As the second dragon now is spawning, Astralis did take the first one. They look to be in position for this one as well. It looks as though Schalke maybe just going to trade this one for mid, but nope. No. Tell a lie. Astralis haven't even started it up. Gilius face checking. He's caught.
Oh yeah, we'll use the Onslaught of Shadows to get away from the Shockwave. Trying to use that Rift Herald to gain a bit of mid-prio, I guess, to threaten an attempt to get onto this Drake. But without Onslaught of Shadows, Gilius might be in a slightly rougher situation. However, Neon and Limit are coming through. They're going to start to gain that vision control. They've brute forced their way onto this dragon. We could have a bit of a showdown here.
Here comes BrokenBlade as well. Both top laners on their way in. WhiteKnight doesn't have his ulti, so he's going to be pretty slow into this one, and his usefulness in a team fight will be a little bit hindered. Schalke are going to start this one up. We'll see if Astralis can do anything about it.
Yeah, Schalke. They're going, that's Jeskla using the ultimate already now. Abbedagge using the Emperor's Divide, tries to shove everybody into BrokenBlade, who picks up the first kill of this fight. And suddenly, Astralis HP bars are dropping. I have no idea how this went so badly wrong for them, but Schalke have come on top in this really important engager on the second Drake.
Abbedagge happened. That's how it went so bad for Astralis. He saw his window in a choke point where that Shurima shuffle gets so much value, where it just covers the entirety of that little gap there when you're walking through the jungle to the river, completely catching Astralis off guard. MagiFelix and WhiteKnight both falling in that situation. Just perfect play there from Abbedagge. Wins his team the team fight, and they're going to pick up a dragon as well for their spoils.
The analyst desk set it up so perfectly. It's Abbedagge that needs to step up in this game to give Schalke their mojo back. You know, Schalke need to win this game. They need to win this game to put themselves in a strong contention point for those playoff spots. And as well, you know, on the back of that, they're not the only ones that need to win. That 0.25% of remaining scenarios where Astralis make it to playoffs, it's a small chance. That turns to 0 if Astralis lose here. If Astralis lose to Schalke, they have a 0% chance of making it to playoffs. So they absolutely need this win too, as now Limit face checks into Zanzarah. Will try to get away with the dismount. Has got promisq backing him up now, as Zanzarah is desperate for the kill. The Shockwave comes through, and he will pick it up. Is that enough to give Astralis the lead on this second Rift Herald?
I think it might be. We're going to get an engage here as well from top side.
Yeah, BrokenBlade. Yeah, he riposts it. He riposts it. He gets out of it quite nicely.
Yeah, that matchup is definitely difficult for Sion. So we're going to see this dragon fight again. Just keep your eyes on the Azir, the Pigeon Master himself. Look at that. Slides forward, flashes in. That's just like, what can you do? Yeah, Sion literally cannot move. He gets stuck. He gets stuck between the units of the Shurima soldiers and the wall. Quite literally, there is no counterplay to this.
I've legit never seen that.
Cannot move.
I've legit not seen that before. That is big brain if he intended it, but very lucky if he didn't as well. That was a nice play from Abbedagge, and he's stepping up on this Azir, you know, a very strong pick in the current meta as well. I think obviously now we are heading towards the, you know, the sort of 16-minute, coming toward 20-minute mark as well. Gold lead is not massively in favor. In fact, it's not even in favor of Schalke. The gold lead actually sits in favor of Astralis. I think that will change.
I mean, you're not wrong. It is not massively in favor of Schalke because they're behind. Stick to your guns, mate. That was the truth.
It technically was the truth. It does look like Schalke have picked up that minor gold lead now, as WhiteKnight does put a bit of damage down to the Neon, but he has got the support of both Gilius and Limit in the side there. I mean, neither team really taking any major advantages. It does really kind of feel like Schalke are in the driving seat right now. promisq obviously getting picked off, but it does kind of feel like Schalke are in the driving seat right now. What do they now need to do to kind of accelerate this? What do they now need to do to sort of really solidify a strong mid-game advantage and play towards the win conditions of their comp?
So you saw exactly what they were trying to do right there with the 1-3-1. You know, they move members into the bot side of the map, they sweep out the vision, they sort that out. Oh, BrokenBlade's gonna, yeah, here comes the Sion as well. He's in trouble, we may have to hold his thought.
I think he might get caught out. As user he's gonna flash onto MagiFelix, has procced the ultimate as well, but I think he's caught out. MagiFelix will pick up the kill nice and easy, and WhiteKnight making moves on the map.
Okay, but what does Schalke get out of this? This is the important thing. If your split pusher dies because the opponent team dedicates more members to that lane, you have to get something somewhere else. And I don't really think Schalke are going to be too happy with that cross-map play, but we are going to get a TP. Yo, Astralis want more.
I mean, they are keen to make the engagements happen. Decimate will not land, and Schalke will back off. Now, there aren't any major neutral objectives for Astralis to go for with that teleport. Maybe it was to try and look for a catch, but they're going to drop the Rift Herald in this bot side of the map, and I'm guessing they're going to try and brute force their way through to this tier 1.
Yeah, you just want to clear out these tier 1s away from the map here. You know, just pick up the gold that's sitting there, allow yourself to push it out as well. I think so. So this is something that's interesting with this use of Rift Herald, and it's a topic I'd like to explore a little bit, and I also don't have 100% the answer to the question I'm about to pose. But normally, Rift Herald is better used to break down tier 1 mid, especially against control mages or mages that can like wave play really well, like the Azir. But I do think there's actually extra value in breaking down a tier 1 in one of the side lanes with Herald, because it means when you bounce waves, when you push waves out against the Fiora, they're going to push further away from your base, so that when she then gets back into the lane to continue her split push, she's going to be starting from further away, right? So it buys you a little bit more time before you really start feeling the heat on the Fiora split push. So maybe that's something they bear in mind. Maybe I'm just talking absolute rubbish, but I think that is something, you know, that is a potential benefit there for Schalke breaking down that tier 1 bot.
So we're actually starting to see some of the... Oh, wait a second. Going to catch Neon potentially as Zanzarah dives in. Featherstorm is there. Zanzarah pops the ultimate. The rank. Oh, my word. He gets deleted by Neon. That was a lot of damage. Lots of feathers. And Zanzarah got more than just a little bit tickled.
He got way more than just a little bit tickled. He exploded right there. 5 seconds until this dragon spawns, but Hecarim's in trouble now as well. Gilius!
He's down. Jungler for jungler. It will be a shutdown going over to Jeskla. The teleport coming through as well. It is WhiteKnight. A little bit more of a team fight presence than the Fiora as well. It is a 4 versus 4. However, the Shockwave is down, and that is a huge team fight tool MagiFelix will not have access to for around the next minute or so. And this third dragon has spawned. I'm not entirely sure it's worth losing your life or the game over for just the second dragon on either team, but it does look like Astralis are confident enough to just straight up start this.
So I was thinking when both teams traded players here, like, it's a 4v4, who has the advantage? I was kind of going back and forth about it in my head, but I think with Astralis, the fact that they still had the core components of their team fight, were only losing the Olaf, but still having like loads of their frontline protection and DPS, I think Astralis had the advantage there, and that's why, you know, Schalke are just going to back away from that one, as we're going to see how this all started. Just, my goodness, so much damage. When you're Ragnarocking and rolling, you take extra damage, by the way, so Olaf is even more squishy, disrespecting Neon's damage there, but it's a bit unfortunate, honestly, for the side of Schalke that Gilius gets caught out in this situation as well, because, you know, it's a 4v5 now, you have this dragon, like, you really should be able to pick that one up. And, ooh, hello, WhiteKnight's going in on Neon.
He is going to force the flash out of him. The Decimate will not land, but they are going to dive straight in. Zanzarah wants revenge, baby! And he picks it up under tower with WhiteKnight. Nobody kills Zanzarah twice, although he has actually died twice, so...
More than twice. Nah, legit, that's it, revenge though. He wanted revenge and he got it right there. Neon able to stay very safe in this game, considering, honestly, Astralis has focused him pretty hard, I'd say, this game. But that was his first death, you know. Xayah as a champion, very good at staying alive. Also, something that's really interesting to note about his item build here is he doesn't have a mythic yet. You know, he's got 2 items and no mythic. Sometimes we see this out of certain champions that like to build, you know, like this Fiora here, for example, wants that Ravenous Hydra. We see it fairly often with mages buying Zhonya's. But on AD carry, it's quite uncommon to have your mythic delayed this much, especially when mythic items are pretty strong right now on ADCs, like with the Gale Force, for example. So I think that is quite interesting, you know, and I do think, you know, once Neon reaches that 3 items, it's going to give a whole nother definition to the 3-item power spike, because that 3rd item will be the mythic.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's Gale Force for him as well. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned items because we have got quite a few of them finished up now. A lot of mythics across the board for Astralis. And as you said, a couple of mythics missing from Schalke, but obviously, you know, BrokenBlade prioritizing Ravenous Hydra here, Essence Reaver as well for Neon. So some delay on the mythics for those guys. Astralis, I think, you know, maybe that plays into their favor for the time being. They have, I think, got a better teamfight comp just through the very nature of not having the Fiora. So... you know, is this an area of the game where maybe they could try and force something, force these 5v5 fights, try to not get caught up with the Fiora in the side lanes?
I think that's a good idea, honestly. Like the thing is, like you lose the split push, and any time that you're trying to break a split push, it all comes down to having engage. And Astralis definitely don't lack engage. You know, you've got the Olaf who can run at you. You've got the Sion who just needs no explanation for why he's got to engage. Plus the Alistar, you know, you've even got like engage enhancers from the side of the Orianna. So I do think Astralis will be looking to go for something. And they can even tower dive if they see people out of position, because, I mean, Alistar with his Unbreakable Will, he's not going to feel tower shots. Sion being Sion, he probably won't either. So definitely, you know, I think Astralis can be fairly liberal with their attempts to engage this game, but, you know, Schalke just have to be kind of careful and be aware of that.
Obviously, we have more neutral objectives coming up on the map. Baron is already there. Dragon is spawning. That would be Soul Point for Astralis. If they were to take this, it's their third Dragon. The one following that would be the Soul. This feels like something that Schalke are going to want to try and contest. I don't know if they've had enough like side lane pressure right now to kind of commit Fiora to a full split push strategy, but maybe they say, okay, we could trade the third Dragon. Maybe Fiora picks up and starts threatening inhibitor turrets at that point. Is that something that, you know, think Schalke should be thinking about? Because obviously when you have a Fiora, as we've said, her teamfight efficacy is not quite as strong as Sion, so you have to find a way to utilize that split push win condition. But eventually, these neutral objectives are going to start hurting if you're just giving them up all the time by not team fighting.
Yeah, I think this is, for me, it all comes down to where. You know what? I'm going to hold this Soul. Zanzarah, be careful, mate. You've been burned by this once. You know, Neon has damage.
He's really holding on to his ultimate right now. Right at the end, pops it through the Magnet Storm. Here comes the engage as Jeskla gets out with the Gale Force. Dives away. Zanzarah low. WhiteKnight tanking. Somehow, Astralis escape. But it is alive. I know, they're all alive. But this is a problem. It's a problem, Foxy, because Dragon is spawning and Baron is there, and they've lost priority on that area of the map.
Even in the picture-in-picture, you see that MagiFelix survived on a sliver of HP. That's crazy. Honestly, a little bit unlucky there for Schalke to not actually pick up a kill on that front. But honestly, again, Astralis started that. You know, Zanzarah was the one walking forward. We have mentioned, you know, this guy has not won a game if he hasn't been playing Hecarim or Skarner. These champions are a lot tankier. You can walk forward a little bit. You have a bit more liberty to do that. Olaf, slight adaptation needed. He's very good at going in, but when he has to start running away, it's not so easy for him. As we're going to see, we're going to play the NA around, baby. Here we go. 5v5, including the split push. Fiora is joining this party.
You can see WhiteKnight hanging around on the side, maybe looking for a chance to rush into the team fight and make his presence felt. He's currently not seen on the map, although the Decimate, I think, graphic effect did come through the wall there. He is going to try and zone away as Zanzarah has started up this Drake. Schalke look like they want the fight right now, Foxy.
Yeah, they're going to go for it right here. Astralis got it pretty low here. Gilius is going to have to try and... They're not even going to bother. That is surprising to me. Nothing going there at all. Schalke's going to give that one up, but I think the worst thing about it is they're not going to get anything else out of it. They didn't even have the mid lane push. We'll see, though. They might be looking for this fight. Schalke moving forward. Limit pushing up. I think it's going to work, mate. They're just going to get out.
Zanzarah is just hanging around on the side here. He's just trying to threaten Gilius. Very awkwardly cut off by himself. That is a dangerous position to be in, I think, versus an Azir. But it looks like Schalke are comfortable to back off and head into the red side jungle, start stealing away the chickens and the red buff this time, and move their way through back to their side of the map.
I do... Ooh, I'm racking my brain a little bit here to think about, you know what, never mind, because WhiteKnight, he sees his window, he's jumping in.
And then the raid boss comes straight in from Astralis, gets taken low. Oh, it's a big engage onto Limit, and they pick him off. Astralis, 0.25% of remaining scenarios, and that's a big enough chance for them.
They're looking good right now, and this should be the Baron as well. BrokenBlade already used his TP to join that dragon fight where Schalke weren't able to pick it up. He doesn't have TP up. He's split pushing in the bot. Schalke, though, they're not going to give away this Baron for free.
They're not. They're going to disengage straight onto Gilius now as well. He's going to get taken low, and now Abbedagge will be forced to use the Emperor's Divide. In the meantime, BrokenBlade has got the inhibitor turret and is working on the inhibitor. Neon will pick up MagiFelix, but it is a team fight win overall for Astralis. Abbedagge running interruption. They'll trade inhibitor for a team fight loss.
Nice. Okay, Schalke. It was looking kind of rough for you guys there the past kind of 2-3 minutes. Wasn't 100% convinced by their map play, but I think that one, honestly, at the end of the day, it comes out in Schalke's favor. Being able to pick up a tower and inhibitor as well, you do not lose the Baron, and the fight was only a 2-for-1 at the end of the day as well. Now, crucially here, this makes any future Baron plays that much easier for Schalke, because that bot lane inhib being down means bot lane is going to perma push towards Astralis' base, and with that they're going to have to deal with bot lane pushing. They're going to have to catch those minions, defend their base, and bot lane's really far away from Baron, so it gives you a lot of time. Having said that though, Astralis, they're looking for it. They're TPing into the Baron. Ooh, it's spooky, Kitten.
It's really spooky because they don't have their entire team there. Zanzarah was desperate to try and claim something back to remedy that inhibitor loss on the bot side of the map by just taking that objective away. Oh wait, here we have the engage, straight promisq onto Gilius. Gilius actually goes in, onslaught of shadows is there as BrokenBlade's looking for the engage. The Magnet Storm is huge, and now BrokenBlade is there. It's not a good enough shockwave on the backline, is still alive for Schalke right now. Neon kiting backwards, Abbedagge untouched. He goes in, straight onto promisq. Abbedagge versus the world, a double kill for the guy in the backline. It is a 2 versus 2 overall though, and that is a big return for MagiFelix. He gets a double at the end of it as well, finally getting his own back in the mid lane, and Gilius is forced to run, sprints his way into his own jungle.
That was so back and forth. I thought at first it was easy for Astralis, and I thought it was easy for Schalke, and Astralis come out on top of that fight. We're going to see the engage here, the Hex Splash from promisq, but perfect re-engage from both the Hecarim and the Rell. Look at this. I think this is where Schalke wins the fight. And just watch Abbedagge. Watch him. He's free hitting here. And because Astralis is quite low range, look how much damage he's had to put out. Just as Astralis are trying to get in. Astralis can't even do anything there. And he's just free hitting them. But I think that's just a little bit too much. You know, a teeny weeny bit too much. Separated from his team. Good focus from Astralis, recognizing that he is vulnerable in that situation. Abbedagge going to go down. And with that, oh my goodness, man, I'm feeling a little bit out of breath, but Astralis is going to win that fight.
Me too, mate. Honestly, I really didn't think it was going to go Astralis' way, but Jeskla and MagiFelix managed to remain untouched that entire team fight. They were still going, and it really didn't take much HP damage at all. And actually, if you look at Jeskla, he's 6-0-1. In the games that Astralis has won, he was 12-0 and 6-1. So in the games that Astralis have actually won, it's been Jeskla that's really been popping off, just in terms of kills and potentially carry potential. This is a platform that Astralis likes to play from, and at 6-0-1 right now, he is a very, very strong AD carry.
100% agree with you. When Astralis win, Jeskla is often the one piloting that. And to be honest, coming out of yesterday's game, I do think, you know, promisq and Jeskla didn't have a stellar game yesterday, and seeing them today, I think this has been a real switch of things up. You know, like they've done so good today. promisq with his engages, as he's looking for potentially another one. Jeskla's been that solid rock in the backside as well. We're going to get a fight here at Excoundrel. I can smell it. Both teams want to contest this. This would be soul for Astralis.
It would be soul for Astralis, and they are desperate to make it happen. Schalke know they need to prevent this from happening as well, and they are just looking for the engage. Gilius now onto the dragon. They're going to immediately get promisq down. He gets taken low. The onslaught of shadows onto the backline. Abbedagge finds one. He's found two. He's got a double kill already. He's going for the triple, but it's going to be BrokenBlade that picks it up at the end. Neon untouched as well, and now Schalke are running away with the fight. They prevent the soul. They get the win, and they have inhibitor minions knocking on the base.
Well, this could be Baron as well. I'd imagine that's where Schalke are going to turn their sights right here. That was a very eerily similar fight to the one we just saw, but this time Schalke were able to pull it out. Abbedagge, heroic play right there to knock Jeskla out of position. And once he's out of position, you know, we were just saying it, man. Jeskla was the man. He was the one that was bringing out the deeps. He was the one. He was that solid carry. And once you've dealt with him, then there's not too much to worry about anymore for the side of Schalke. So they win that team fight, pick up Dragon, as you say, denying Soul, pick up the Baron too. All in all, Schalke are going to be very happy with that. Taking a look at this team fight once more. promisq doesn't get a great engage. Gilius is going to jump all the way in, but really, it's Abbedagge. Keep your eyes on Abbedagge. Watch him. He's bopping, he's bopping, he's bopping, he's bopping, and then he's going to do a cheeky little slide forward into the Sharima Shuffle, and Jeskla, mate. That just signs his death.
And unfortunately, Magi was zoned out by that too. Magi Zonya'd on the edge of the team fight and was zoned out, and they're the two major damage sources. Like, once they're gone, the damage is kind of done, right? Oh my word.
Listen, mate. Okay, Abbedagge, you need to calm down. Look, that not only are you dealing that much damage, but the utility of that ulti that he, to displace people and zone MagiFelix, like, oh my goodness, Azir when played well is just disgusting, and Abbedagge most certainly is playing this game well.
Baron power play has started here for Schalke. They really do have a good few avenues to abuse, and obviously when you have the Baron, that split push does become much more threatening as well. You can really quite easily push that through 2 lanes, potentially more, depending on how you want to play it. But Schalke have that open lane where they want to go for the inhibitor. They're going to push it down as a unit.
You see that as well, how Schalke was standing still on this minion wave. They didn't want to kill the enemy minions here because they wanted to stack this wave. They want this wave here, this small wave, to build up with the other wave that's now coming in. And look at this. Now they've got a big minion wave to work with to try and take down this inhibitor.
Just going to let the super minions, or the Baron siege minions rather, do their job. And they're going to zone out with Gilius in the front line right now. Happy to just play it safe, let BrokenBlade push this side lane turret as well, or the side lane, but it's the mid lane. And they are going...
Yeah, there it is. This is it. This is the split push here. It's not quite as sexy as split pushes, tend to be sometimes when it comes to a Fiora, but it's all you need. No one can hold BrokenBlade, and it's going to lose everything as Schalke here.
They go for the engage. That's the shockwave missing. I was about to really go in for a big engage there, Foxy, but...
They baited you, mate. It's not happening right here. But this is fine. That's fine by Schalke. They're playing it by the book. They're playing it slow because they don't need to go for these engages. They have Baron. They have the ability here to just push down these waves. And now, BrokenBlade, there's only one lane to go, but you still don't need to group up with your team because you can start threatening Nexus towers if it really gets to it. So Schalke are going to be quite content with this push here. They're going to go for those resets most likely, buy up. I'm really curious to see if Neon's ever going to get a mythic item this game, because his third item was an Infinity Edge, not as mythic. Maybe we'll get one before the end of the game. I can't imagine he's saving it for the 5th item, but maybe he is. I don't know. We'll see.
This is, we are getting towards the later stages of the game here. This is the point of the game where things like the Orianna, the Kai'Sa, especially things like the Fiora and the Azir sound, it starts to really come online. And I think Schalke have taken control of this game massively so. And I think they've actually been able to effectively utilize the split push Fiora as well as bring her into the team fights, Foxy.
Absolutely, and this is it. As this game goes on, I mentioned earlier on that no one's really going to be able to deal with Fiora. Astralis didn't have an answer to it, and especially now that Schalke have gotten a fairly significant lead, they are 5,000 gold ahead. I mean, that's just been exacerbated. I know, yeah, this BrokenBlade, this is just how Schalke wins, legit. If Schalke wins, BrokenBlade has a huge damage share. I mentioned it before in the game as well. And look, they put him on a carry, and Schalke are winning this game, and I've been really impressed with the way they've been able to utilize this Fiora pick.
Zanzarah is already low HP, being forced back into his base for the time being. And they are just, as you said, they're 1-3-1-ing right now. Abbedagge is threatening the bot lane. BrokenBlade just constantly threatening the only lane that has the inhibitor turret left standing. Schalke are slowly trying to turn the knife on this game, and promisq is desperate for the engage onto Limit. They want to make something happen, and they do. They go in straight onto Neon. That is the Featherstorm already used. He flashes across the wall. Gilius finds the fight. Limit is still alive in the backline, and here comes BrokenBlade for the time being. Where is the boy Hecarim? There he is. He picks up the first kill of the fight. He goes for the second as Neon gets one too, and WhiteKnight and promisq are forced back through mid lane, but they don't care about the Sion. They care about the game. 0-7 power spike activated for Schalke. They are going to push down the Nexus turrets. Their playoff dreams are alive. And with that, they're going to consign Astralis to dust. It is a huge win for Schalke when they needed it the most.
It looks a little bit shaky to begin with there for Schalke, but they are able to pull out the victory. And as you quite rightly say, if they are looking to make playoffs, this was a must-win game. Honestly, a bit of a statement game here for Schalke. Really impressed with what they were able to do.
7-2-4 for Abbedagge as well. And I just want to link you back to what the desk said. It's all about Abbedagge. If you really want to see Schalke activate that sort of miracle run scenario, it's off the back of their mid laner, and he had an excellent game. Ooh, Foxy, I need to calm down after that one. That was a banger.
That was. We had a lot of action in that game as well. I'm just really impressed, honestly, with the way, you know, Schalke showed a lot of tenacity in that one, I would say, because, you know, it really wasn't their game to win for like, you know, 15-20 minutes. It's not like they were just stomping this game and then decided to win at some point. Like, they played the fights really well. They didn't concede too much. I think they can look back at this game and say, you know what, there are things we can work on, but a win's a win, and let's keep looking forward.
And with that as well, I can confirm Astralis are knocked out of the run for playoffs. They only had 0.25% of remaining scenarios. But unfortunately, that has now put it down to 0. Of course, your Kia player of the game is up on your screen right now. BrokenBlade, Abbedagge, or Limit for Schalke. That is a relatively tough choice, actually. BrokenBlade had huge influence in the split push. Abbedagge was obviously monstrous in the team fights, and Limit had those great engages. Foxy, before I throw quickly, who would you pick?
I mean, I don't think it's as close as you think it is, but I'm not going to say because I don't want to corrupt the vote. Vote for
you don't want to corrupt. All right. No corrupting the vote. All right, we're going to go to a short break. Afterwards, we've got Vitality as they have found a new energy after their win yesterday. They look to pull off a 2-0 week versus XL.
That was my foot. Wait, I can't find the switch.
It's on your left?
Wait, I got it.
Oh god, that's not good. What did you do?
I wasn't supposed to leak that. Oh no.
No, wait, look, if we react quick enough, we can just pretend that we revealed it on purpose.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go.
Damn it, just roll with it.
And let's bring the hype music.
LEC Finals, 10th and 11th of April. Tune in.
They are out there, waiting to be discovered. Some of them are big, and some of them are small. But that's the thing with ideas. They don't just come to you. To find them, you have to move. Kia, movement that inspires.
The systems are overloading. We can't risk another game.
We need to take a break and regroup.
We're starting to lose our mind. Captain, we cannot go back to Elo Hell. Last time it took us months to get out of it.
Initiate break protocol.
Hurry up!
Yes! I did it! We did it!
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Welcome back to the LEC as Schalke 04 defeats Astralis and keeps their playoff dreams alive. Abbedagge, how does it feel to end the 7 games losing streak and to make it back to the playoffs race?
Hey, it feels pretty bittersweet because we were kind of in a similar position last year when we were like kind of getting out of playoffs race, and then we finally got a win again and started getting our momentum for bringing it back and still having a chance to compete. So it feels really good.
Yeah, so we did see that momentum from Schalke today. And in today's Reddit check, I believe it was Ender who was saying that in order to Schalke to repeat their miracle run from last year, Hecarim needs to come online. And that's what we saw today, because your Azir was destructive in team fights and you even won the player of the game. So what do you think about your own Azir performance?
I mean, it was the perfect game for me to play Azir because enemy had a lot of frontline and like only one real engage, like the Alistar Ori combo. So I felt really comfortable the whole game. The only dangerous thing was to control myself of not going in too much. I did that mistake like one time that game where I went in when they had all flashes up and then I just died and it was kind of bad. But whenever I control myself, just play calm, hits the Olaf in front of me. They basically only watched me like destroying their front line, and it was pretty fun to just clean up.
Yeah, of course. And I almost found it symbolic that you were back in Azir, your signature champion that also played a crucial part in Schalke's playoffs run at last summer. So can you tell me more about your preference and confidence in Azir in general, and maybe how important is it to perhaps play your comfort champion in a clutch match like this one?
I mean, I don't know, it's basically like bread and butter mid lane champ, and I personally think I'm pretty good at like playing ADCs, and Azir is kind of like the ADC of mid laners. Like you hit and run, you kite and dodge skill shots, and I think I'm pretty good at that. And then I really like just having the option to also go in for the big plays with the shuffle and the ult. It's just always, I don't know, I'm just really good. So Azir, if you have a lot of skill, then that helps a lot on the champ. But I think it just shows the most when you're skilled on Azir, I guess.
Okay, we heard it from Abbedagge. Be skilled, be good at Azir. Abbedagge, I actually had a combo with Dylan Falco recently, who gave us some insight on the recent state of Schalke, that the team atmosphere has actually been quite good, even during the losing streak, and the team has been making some steady improvements. But what can you tell me from first-person perspective on the improvements and issue noticing that Schalke has been doing in the last few weeks?
I think when we started losing, it was just kind of hard. I think our team coordination was off, and then we had bad momentum. Like we kept losing games, even though I've always felt like these games were in our hands. And now we have to focus a lot on just getting the team together, because I think we were we were good friends outside of the game, but in the game, like we're a bit selfish or bad at working together. And I think that's been a big focus, and just trying to play more easier comms to get back to winning was our key to the past weeks.
My final question, as you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, it's all about the momentum. And right now, so many teams are vying for that 6th, 5th place in the playoffs. You know, Misfits, Vitality, XL. And you know what happened last summer? Schalke managed to claim it. So what is the one thing that Schalke needs to remember from last summer split that will enable them to make it into the playoffs?
We need to remember that the other teams are trash, and if you play decent, we will get there. But if you just play decent, we're not going to be one of the real top teams, so we need to play really good. So for me, it's not my goal to just go to playoffs. Like I want to compete in playoffs. And if you don't even get there, then that would be very sad. But I think it's very doable.
Okay, and best of luck for the rest of the LEC as well as the Super Week next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the interview. See you.
Thank you. See you. And after the break, we'll be back with another crucial match for the players, Vitality versus XL. Face off here at the LEC, so don't go anywhere.